Them Damn Mexicans presents TDM Talk.
What's up, everybody, man? Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of TDM Talk. I'm your host, David, of Them Damn Mexicans. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. And on all streaming platforms, you know, we got great content that we've been putting out. Today, we have two very special guests in the building. And a very special episode that I'm excited about. Today, we have my brother from another. Long time coming. We've been talking about doing an interview. My boy DJ D.E.E.P. He is the DJ at Mr. A's on Hood Night for many, many years now, and he's also the first DJ to DJ in Africa. So we want to welcome him. And then our second guest is my boy DJ Obedient. He is the official TDM DJ, the DJ for Teddy Tuesday podcast, Houston Whips, and Extreme Off-Road Performance. Welcome, guys. Appreciate y'all coming.
Yeah.
Like
so you're the one that got the Houston Whip job. Okay. I was trying to do some content for them, man.
Yeah, I think the first time we actually went out to see you was at one of the events, right? That he did right there on 45 in West Road. And that was live because I had never been to an actual car meet, so I was like, man, I didn't know everything that was going on.
Yeah, I actually pulled up on them by accident. We was working with this party bus.
Mm-hmm.
Remember we was doing the Christmas thing for the party bus, and so we happened to pull up in the lot, and they was all there. And so I got some content while I was there, and I was like, well, yeah, we can connect.
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy because we pulled up. Like, I've driven by there several times, and I don't know if you were DJing at the time, but I've driven by 45 going back to the house or wherever I was going. And I'd always see something. I never knew what it was, though, until the day I went. I said, this is what they be doing out here. I was like, okay. Yeah, there's a lot of space out there, man.
Yeah, it was a detail garage. What they do is they actually sell products for vehicles to be able to wash, clean, and all that. And then they like to do that because there's a lot of car enthusiasts that go up there. And then they just put on the show, man. They get vendors out there. And I've been able to do that for a couple of years now. It's been about 3-4 years. Houston Whips first started as a car page and a bunch of other different car pages, but I've been, able to do a lot of car meets, man. Met a lot of people, seen a lot of people doing stuff like that.
That's dope. Well, I just want to say that I appreciate what you guys do, and part of why I wanted to do this interview was to talk about the importance of the DJ, the role that you guys play, and I don't know if there's like a debate of do they still matter or do they not. To me, I'll always say they'll always matter because you guys break records, and we'll get into that in a minute about breaking records. Because I know, especially with your track record of breaking records is, it's almost second to none, and I don't think you get your flowers like I would, at least that I would like to see, So I'm gonna start with you. We met through Soundwaves. For those that don't know, it's a place that sold CDs. CDs are compact discs that had music on it. Google it.
You go to a museum and see a CD player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. For those that don't know, some of your cars might still have a CD player, but yeah. So we met through there, and believe it or not, I used to set up rap hip hop battles. Like he'd come in and or somebody would come in and be gassed and I'm a dope rapper. I'll go at it with anybody, bro. And I don't even know why people would come in there and say that, which I thought was weird. But I was like, you know what? I got somebody that I can call. You can battle like right now. And we talked about this before about how dope it would have been to have recorded that.
Oh man, that would be legendary right now.
Yeah, man, some legendary stuff. So I would call him up and like, hey, this dude here talking that I'm on my way, and I don't know what he'd be doing, but he'd show up within a few minutes, and they battle right there in the store, like 19-1
in Soundwaves.
19-1. So let's talk about I guess a brief
19
history of
1.
So when I met you, how long were you DJing prior to that?
When you first met me in Soundwaves, I wasn't a DJ then.
You weren't a DJ then?
No, not at all. Okay. I was just
because I remember you coming in there shopping for vinyl, and so I assumed he was a DJ.
No, I just love music like that. Like I kind of stumbled on Soundwaves when I was doing Driver's Ed. They used to have a place you could do Driver's Ed inside North Line Mall.
Yeah,
that's also a piece of Houston history. Might have to look that up.
Yeah,
but when I used to have driver's ed in Northline Mall, and Soundwaves was right next to it.
Yeah.
So whenever we would have a break in class, I would walk over to Soundwaves. The thing about me is I come from music. My mama used to be a performer, and she collected a lot of music. So before I had my own music, I had my mama's music. So I was already, into music anyway. And then having Soundwaves right there, I started going. And then when it moved across the street, I kind of kept that going. I used to, as you know already, I used to live in Soundwaves. I'd be in there so much. People be asking me, hey, where can I find this CD? And I'm like, I don't work here. They just knew I worked there because I was in there all the time.
That's how I got the job working at Soundwaves. I would be up there so much. I would actually sell them CDs because I would have, shout out to, I haven't talked or seen them for a long time, but I remember it was Jimmy and his brother. They own In Your Face Fashions over there on Veterans, and it was on Veterans and something, I can't remember, but I used to get the East Coast mixtape, DJ Clue, K Slay, all that stuff from way out there. And I would go over there and sell it to those guys. They're like, man, where you get this at? Because we didn't have that over there. So,
yeah.
But anyway, so when did you start DJing?
21 years ago.
21 years ago?
Yeah, 22 years ago. Like as far as just starting, but as far as like professionally, about 21 years ago. And that kind of happened.
I was about to say, how did you get in? What made you get in?
Oh, that's an interesting story. Well, so basically what it was is like from the time you knew me and all of that, I was really seriously trying to, do the rap stuff.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to be an artist, especially at that time, it's expensive. Because, right now, $500, $1,000, you can buy these equipment, record at home, go over here, get this little mix and master app. Back then, Sugar Hill Studios, $100 an hour.
Yeah.
That's just the recording. That ain't mixing, that ain't mastering, that ain't artwork, that ain't nothing.
There's very few studios available like that.
Yeah, so it was like, how I'm going to pay for this and had a time to move around. So, what ended up happening is I got in the streets. I started selling drugs. And so after doing that for so long, and then ended up getting a case, and somebody snitched on me. I caught my first case and all that, and I was like, I got to do something different because either I'm going to end up going to jail, I'm going to end up killing somebody and going to jail. Yeah. So it's like, I got to figure out something else to do. I already had like 3 dresser drawers full of CDs from Soundwave. So it was like, I'm going to start, trying to dabble in the DJing. So it was a little hole in the wall spot in my neighborhood that I used to hustle across the street from. I'd go in there, play they jukebox broke. I'd go in there, play 2 or 3 songs, come back out, hit my lick, go back in, 2 or 3 songs, come out, get some more money. And I was doing it like that. And then a lot of the dudes that I knew from the streets who was doing different stuff started booking me to DJ their parties. That's how I got the Dope Man's Favorite DJ.
Oh, yeah.
Because back then, all my clients was D-boys.
Yeah.
So
they was paying good, too.
Oh, man.
Yeah, because I used to actually manage.
$200 tip for one song.
Yeah. I used to actually manage a couple of guys who were DJing. We'd book them house parties, quinceañeras, whatever, and I would get like a little fee from it. But, yeah, guys in the hood, like, how much? And, like, all right, it's going to be this much. Oh, yeah, I got, it was like nothing. I was like, damn. Yeah, so, but anyway. Yeah,
so I just kept doing that, and then from there, I DJ'd one of my people parties. Shout out to the homie Joe Baby, 5th Ward, I'm talking about. So I was doing one of his birthday parties, and he happened to hire one of the bartenders from Miss A's to do it. So that bartender went back to the owner of Miss A's and told him about me. I came over there, did a couple of nights. Him and the DJ he had before ended up parting ways, so the door opened for me to come in, and then a couple of years later, Hood Night started. But that's also how I ended up kind of being a part of the evolution of Zydeco too, because as far as like having rap on Zydeco, that's pretty much me and J. Paul's blueprint.
Yeah, shout out J. Paul, man.
Yeah, so like he had a couple of rappers that he had on songs before, but it never really like stuck.
Yeah,
because they was trying to rap like how they would rap, I guess, on their albums or whatever on a Zydeco song. And it didn't really fit. Work, But what happened is he was performing at Miss A's on Fridays.
Okay.
So I knew his brother, R.I.P. to Flip. he would bring his brother up to freestyle. You know, he would do what we do. I'ma come down, such this, that, whatever, right? But then I don't know how. I guess Flip told him about me, so I ended up getting on the mic at the club, and people started liking it. So he started doing it kind of regular, and from there I ended up on like 3 or 4 songs on different J. Paul projects. So everybody you hear from like haters and all of that stuff, that whole blueprint come from me and Paul.
Man, that's dope. That's dope. And see, it's that's why I like when I bring guests on. Like I like to get a little bit of the history because people don't know what it took early on to get to where you're at. People think you just kind of came out of nowhere. It's like, nah, I was even with myself with the brand. Like we were around 14 years ago. You know, we just took like a long break, you know. So I'm going to jump over to my man, DJ Obedient. Tell us how long you been DJing?
Man, I started like officially back in like 2014, man. So it's been about like 9 years.
Okay.
But before that, I was just, you know, doing like not nothing major, man. It started out as me, like you say, having CDs, man. I was always about music. I like music back in school. We used to do some freestyle in school and stuff like that. And used to hang out.
We're going to get a freestyle session from you guys today.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I ain't tripping. I like that.
Ike, I ain't tripping.
Look, shout out to Nathan Ike in the building. Ike say he want all the smoke, so I don't know. We'll see.
But that's kind of how it happened, man. I used to come out to the parties, man. I'm a homeboys, and everybody would invite me out. Hey, man, put on something, man, because I used to always, man, just have the hits. You know, LimeWire.
Yeah.
Oh, man. What's the LimeWire, bro?
That LimeWire made me some money, allegedly.
Yeah, oh, man, you.
For real. That's how it was, man. I mean, I had a big stack of CDs, and so it'd be like, man, I put on the hits, man, and everybody be jumping and, you know, crunk to it. And then it was like, man, hey, so I got a party, man, see you want to come out and DJ. So I originally started out like on 2 phones, man. I was just doing it on phones, you know, then it came out the phones after the CDs, and then after that, man, somebody's like, man, you should take it kind of serious, man. You know, you always rocking, man. You got people jumping, vibing, dancing the whole time. So I went and bought my first little mixer. It was a Newmark, man. I think it was like 120, and I had just got one speaker, man. It was a Mackie Thump, a 15, and so I started playing with it at home, watching YouTube stuff like that, man. I was like, man, we'll do it. And then I went and did the party, man, and it just went from there on, man. Everybody, everywhere I would go, everybody was like, hey, man, can you come DJ my party? Can you come DJ this? Can you come DJ that? I was like, man, I'll go do it. And then just over the years, it started getting better and better. And just grinding, man. It was always, I never had an issue talking to people. Yeah. So, like, networking was always been, like easy for me.
I'm glad you said that because when I started doing my own events, you know, we actually, the DJ we were using, we met him through someone else, like at another event, right? And it was like, he was cool, but he didn't really talk on the mic, you know, he didn't really interact, he just really just played music. And I was like, nah, I gotta have something different, you know. And I remember I actually met you because of Adrian Angelo, because I think he told me that, that you were the DJ for, was it him or was it the World Rejects or was it just him?
No, it was actually because I did a lot of Christian hip hop, CHH. So I did a lot of that, like a lot of big names that I was DJing for. Okay. And then the World Rejects was one of them. I did a couple of events, man, at a couple of different churches, and they were one of the part of the groups that were there. So ever since then, me and Adrian had kicked it all the time. They knew some of the people that I talked to, and it just went from there. And then one time he needed a DJ. He was going to do on a show. I forgot what show it was, but he called me up. He hit me up. He's like, hey, man, I need you to come and.
Was it the last one y'all did?
Nah, man, there was one before that. It was called the Ultimate Event. Okay. It was actually Slim Thug was a headliner that day.
Yeah. I think that's the last one I remember him seeing him do.
No, the other one was at White Oaks.
Oh yeah, you're right. At White Oak Music Hall for the Crash Landing event. Yeah.
So that I think that was the last one, but the first one I think, and we had already done some stuff before, but the big one was that one, and he was like, man, I want to bring you on because. You know, I know what you can do, and they had another DJ there or something like that. But then I ended up talking to the guy. He connected me to that guy, and then that guy ended up booking me for the whole event. And I mean, the whole event was like almost 10 hours. Oh. You know what I mean? Like it was from like I think 10 to like 6, something like that. Whew. Car showed, and I was like, man, I'll do it. You know, I'll do it. And then man, he did his set. It was live, and then Slim Thug came. He brought his DJ on. What's his name? Slim Thug's official DJ.
Rogers or
Sam.
Sam.
So he brought Young
Shout
Sam.
out Young Sam.
Yeah, shout out Young Sam.
And that's why I met Young Sam. So ever since then, I started kicking it with Sam, and so it's just been being at the right place at the right time with the right people.
Yeah, that's all it is, man. Because when I saw, actually, when you told me about that, I think we did the thing with the CCN Network. What was it? It was something else they were called, but the show
festival.
Festival that we were all at. Yeah, we were all at that one. That was my first time meeting Sam. I had never met him, but I knew of Sam because of you.
Yeah.
And that was my first time meeting him. But you know, definitely respect what you guys do, bro. Cause y'all like, and that again, so we can I guess tackle a little bit of the importance of the DJ role. Like, do y'all feel that y'all still play a role in the way today is? Because I think people are like, oh, you can just put it on TikTok and you know it'll blow up. You know, like people say that. You know, and it's like, you know, it's debatable. But I still think you guys who do, because I'll tell you this, when I'm at an event and I hear you guys play something, I'll be like, damn, what's that? Matter of fact, at that festival, you played a song by Young Blue and Chris Brown, the baddest.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that was, but I liked it. I was like, yeah, I did the, you know, what's the name of the song, Siri? And they pulled it up for me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to be like, hey, what's that song, bro? Because when y'all in y'all mode, I know y'all like the, you know, DJ No Request. I forgot there was some movie where like the guy's name was DJ No Request. Craig Robertson. We were just talking about that. Yeah. Shout out to DJ No Request. Yeah, I mean that's exactly what it means. Now I come up here asking. So what's your take on that? I'll ask both of you guys, and however you wanna, if you wanna go first, as far as the importance.
Well, I think people who feel like the DJ has lost importance don't really understand how the mechanics of this whole thing work. From the very beginning, the DJ has been all important, especially as it pertains to hip hop and rap. Like, without the DJ, that's kind of like the foundation of everything else that was built on top of it. It comes from DJing, and beyond that, like even though we have all these modern approaches to the music, some people take off from TikTok. But in most cases, if you was to put, let's say, 100 people who blew up off of TikTok, 99 of them don't last.
Yeah.
But the ones that got here via the DJs last, because the DJs are still playing music. So if I was to use a person, like by example, a person like B King, like having the DJs having your back lasts longer and is more profitable than just having TikTok.
Yeah.
And even when it comes to like the playlists and all of that, the rap caviars and these other different playlists, they got thousands of songs on the playlist. Who makes you say out of all them songs, the one I need to focus on?
Yeah.
The DJs.
Yeah.
So it's still viable and it's still relevant. And I don't, at least in the hip hop space, I don't see that changing anytime soon, because it's too ingrained in the culture to be able to say, yeah, we can do it without them.
Yeah, that's almost like saying you don't need, you gotta have all the elements of hip hop. Hip hop is still what it is because of that. Because I talked about the mixtapes, the you know, DJ Clues, the Who Kids. That's what they did. They broke records. I mean, I heard a story. DJ Who Kid is DJ. Yeah. I remember being being so excited about like when Michael Watts started coming up, because it's like on the north side it was like that whole thing, but that was a dope time. But those guys, when they dropped mixtapes, they would break a record, you know. And I was gonna talk about the story. DJ Who Kid said he got kidnapped by Terror Squad and them, by Big Fat Joe and Pun and them. They kidnapped him, threw him in a van because he played a song that wasn't out yet. I don't know how he got it, you know, because he'd go by the Bootleg King, but you know the DJs did what they could to have the exclusive on the mixtape, and they put it out. And so those risks that DJs take to break a record, you know, you can make or break a record, I think, you know. So, but I'm gonna let you go ahead and give us your take on that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, DJ is definitely needed, man. Not just to break a record or anything like that, but for an artist.
Yeah.
You know, when an artist is on stage, what do you see behind them all the time on stage?
Yeah.
It's a DJ, like, and that's been since the beginning of hip hop.
Yeah.
You know, it's like even the view, like how you gonna sit there and be at a show how's it gonna look to you if you just see an artist up there performing, but you don't see a DJ being able to stop, cut, being able to do what the artist needs him to do at certain points of his song. You know, sometimes he might need you to cut the song off. Sometimes he might need you to spin it back. You know, whatever it is. What else is gonna do that besides the DJ?
Yeah.
What else can do that?
The best shows, like even like I'm gonna tell you, one of the more recent examples of how important the DJ is was when I saw the verses with Dipset and
The
Locks.
Yeah.
Like Locks did their thing, Jadakiss definitely did his thing, but that DJ was doing his thing in the back, bro. At the same time, it was like, and I couldn't see like them having some pre-made kind of playlist playing that would have been able to execute that. Actually, I even seen an interview with Sauce Walker one time. Shout out to Sauce Walker.
Yeah.
I seen an interview with him, and he was talking about how DJs are still important. Like he's even been to strip clubs where they tried to have, you know, they got them programs where it'll blend the songs together automatic and all of that, but it don't have that same feeling as a person who can like read the crowd and say, yeah, I know we supposed to be playing the G's and the this and that, but it looks like they'll mess with this. Let me throw this in. You can't get that from a program. You got to have a human being.
Yep, because once the program is set, man, you can't change that. So if they not rocking with it, what you gonna do? You can't just go in there and say, man, let me flip the script and put this song in or put this artist in because it's already programmed. But like you guys, and I've seen you both in action, and I see how y'all react and crowd interaction and the talking, and you know, that's dope to me. You gotta have that. You gotta bring people's attention, because a lot of times, what are people doing now in the club? They're on Snapchat, on, you know, Instagram Live. They're not really. But you guys playing the music, like, hey, get off the phone and get on the dance floor, you know.
Bro, I be messing with people all the time in the club. I be like I'll find somebody in the club, like say Ike was in there. I'll be like, hey, Ike, I got this idea, man. I'm finna start charging $10 people to look at their phone. What you think? You think it's gonna work? and then he'll be looking like, what you talking about? And I'll be like, well,
try to put his phone in his pocket.
And then I'll be like, it's kind of working right now, cause I mean, look around.
Same thing happened to me last night. The crowd was kind of like, it was a private event. It was a birthday party.
Yeah.
But the crowd was kind of like holding back on trying to come out and dance. Before I got there, they had a Bluetooth speaker, and she was playing like something on Spotify, something like that. While I was setting up, once I was done setting up, I introduced, I did everything. And I was having the crowd up, and I was like, man, I just spit it off and I turned it down. I said, man, y'all not here to sit down. I said, y'all here to celebrate. You know, her name was Maria. I was like, yeah, you have to celebrate her birthday. You know, y'all need to make some noise. Or if anything, what I can do, I can just unpack it. Y'all can go back to the Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's that simple. Yeah. But y'all got me here now, man. We about to get into it.
Yeah.
So then after that, I dropped, a hot song, and then everybody just started vibing. But it's just like, that's something that if you put something on play or repeat, like Spotify has that where you can just, where it transitions into the next song.
Yeah.
If you put that, how in the world how's that going to happen? You know, it just can't happen. You need a DJ, even if you had an MC out there that's gonna talk. You know, even just when even a artist is like, hey, drop that song. You know, or what they're saying goes with the music as the DJ's gonna drop it. Man, that amps up the crowd. Like, man, the crowd just gets live, man. It's a good combination that will never go. It's like a burger and fries. You know, it's never gonna go just a burger, but you got the fries and the shake, and it's just fries.
It's all about an energy, and a machine can't generate
there's no emotion behind it. You gotta
that be the
soul,
thing.
Man,
you gotta bring out that emotion.
It's no different than like performing on stage as an artist. It's all about like when you give out a certain energy, it comes back a certain kind of way, and you can't get that from just machinery.
What's the best part of when you're DJing? No matter where you're at a club, whether it's a private event or whatever. To you, what's the best part? What do you get the most like? Were you sitting there, you're DJing, you're looking out into the crowd, and you're like, this is ill, like this was dope. Like, what to you? What is that?
Just having people enjoy themselves and get away from the issues they might have that day because you played their favorite song. Like a lot of times when people come to places like Hood Night at Mr. A, shout out to Mr. Ashley, and other different places, like you don't know what's going on in their life before or after they leave the club. Some people going home to a house with no lights on. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So it's like,
or that gas tank might be on E, but they drove to get there. so that they can have a good time and escape.
That's
the
their
fact
release.
That's
their release. I can go
music
back and fight the world because
an escape.
I had this time over here where I was away from all of that and just was able to focus on, just having a good time. And I know with me personally, I'm real big on God, and so a lot of times the music, the DJing is just my way to get to the people, to be able to inject, introduce, talk about, motivate people to think about and move in the direction of God. I do that all the time.
Music is spiritual. Like,
yeah,
it
very
really
much so.
It's there's a lot of emotion behind a lot of the songs that some artists portray. Some stronger than others. I could think of there's a track. I want to say it was Betty Wright that was on it. Was it a Kanye track or was it the Khaled track? One of them where she was singing like a cappella, and I was just like, this is so dope. It was like the emotion. You wouldn't think that on one of their albums you would hear something like that, but to hear that, I was like, yeah, this was live. What about for you?
Man, for me, it's basically almost the same thing. Just to be able to know that I can be out there at that time and help somebody to do that, like enjoy themselves. Like when I interact with the crowd, man, they interact back with me. It's just the energy that I feel, man. Sometimes I get like chills just from the people. Like, man, Thursday I did that at George R. Brown. Man, they had a big stage, man, everything, and being out there with the crowd, and then I had this boy. I don't know how old he was, but the cop flashed me that he wanted to come backstage for me to sign something, for me to give him an autograph. And when he did that, I was like, yeah, man, let him come through. And when he came back, he's like, man, I'm really a fan, man. Thank you for doing this. Like just being able to see that. And I told him, I was like, man, he said he wanted to be on stage. I was like, man, I just can't because of liability and stuff like that. But I was like, man, don't ever let nobody tell you what you can and cannot do. I said, so you can one day probably be on the stage, just keep doing it. But being able to know that I touch people like that, and being able to know that they actually, are fans but not fans, but sometimes it's bigger than that. We build like a relationship because once we're all in there and they're vibing to what I'm playing and responding back to me, it's like we're one. We're all one. It's like unity because you see all colors in there. You see everybody in there. You don't see like you see everybody vibing to the same thing, and then for 1 minute, for an hour, for 2-3 hours that it might be, we're all one. Yeah. We're all one.
And it doesn't matter where you're at either, because we talk about where you DJ at on Mondays. That's in the heart of the hood. Hood night. But as far as I know, it's always a good time, and it's on a Monday night. You don't hear of nobody, nothing just crazy happening. So like that lets you know that whatever's going on there is a good thing. It's a positive thing. And music brings people together, bro. Like I really believe that.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in that, bro. Like that's part of the whole thing with my going to Ghana and going to Africa and all of that. It's like that's part of the formula of my purpose in that process, because what I learned is like if we listening to the same music, we could be from different spaces or cultures or mindsets or whatever, but if we listen to the same music, we can connect on that music. We can have, a conversation and get understanding between both sides. Yeah. Like, I tell people all the time, if Paul Wall didn't rap, would you know who he is? Yeah. You probably wouldn't even know who he is. And it's like, because of that, you got a different perspective, a different background, a different ideology than maybe you might have. And it's like if you a person that came from all white people, a certain whatever, he's living proof that ain't the case. But if he didn't rap, you wouldn't even know that he is an example of not that thing that you think white people should be or whatever.
That's like when people will tell, we talk music and people bring up Street Military or K Reno, and I'm like, man, what you know about that? Yeah, salute to OG, man. Yeah, man. And, that, we may not even agree on nothing else, but Street Military is jamming. You know what I mean? It's like, that was cassette tapes. For those that don't know, cassette tapes just Google it. I've said that, but just Google it. You know what it is. What's the biggest compliment you received after an event or a party or after you just DJing? What to you was what someone said to you? kind of like the story that you mentioned, something like that. Because I've seen DJ friends of mine, they'll post after an event like, oh man, they'll send they'll screenshot the text that whoever threw the party, and it's like a long paragraph like, oh man, you whatever. So
man, I mean, besides that, it's been like just, and I get a lot of feedback all the time. Really, it hasn't been, most of my gigs haven't been from like promotion and stuff like that. It's just been from word of mouth.
Yeah.
And I guess like you can say the way you think about me and the way you heard about me and when you see me and the same reaction you get, I get that a lot. You know, and I just get people like that that send me DMs or like after a show and event, it's like, hey man, you really like that, man. Thank you for coming out. Thank you. And that's how a lot of these relationships have been built, just because like.
Ain't nothing like that word of mouth though. Like,
yeah.
I mean, when people just, hey man, that dude, both of you have come to our event. You know, you came to my first Embrace the Culture and spit a freestyle and spoke a little bit of how we met for the crowd, which is dope. And then you came to the toy drive. And this is, you guys didn't have to do that, but you did. And that's why I rock with you guys. And that's why I wanted to give you guys a platform to talk about that, man, because I think that I actually don't know of anybody who's interviewed any DJs, like, and I watch a lot of podcasts, but to actually have DJs and talk about the importance of the role that you guys play, like, you going to Ghana, like, that's crazy. Like, I would never have thought, something like that. Like, that's dope. And then, like I said, I've seen you both in action, like, live, and I'm just like, yeah, this is.
And one of the best parts of that whole thing is that Hood Night paid for half of that.
Wow.
Like, I did this fundraiser when Wicked Cricket was sick. RP to the OG Wicked Cricket, by the way. I did this for the first time. Called it a Tip the DJ benefit, and it was basically kind of set up in a way to where like you tip all these DJs, and we put all the tips together, and we put that towards his situation or whatever.
Yeah.
I did it for the second time for the Ghana trip, and so between the money I had myself, because when I got set up to do the trip, I didn't even know how I was going to be able to pay to go, because that ain't like right down the street.
No, at all.
So it's like I just was trusting God to open it. I just said, yeah, I'm going on this date. And people was asking me, well, what's this? I don't know. I ain't have no passport, nothing. So in the process, I had a certain amount of money, but I wasn't balling. Yeah. So then RP to the OG Boogaloo, he's one of the first people to kind of get behind Young Martez and MPS and stuff like that. He put up 800 for the trip. Didn't ask for nothing back.
Yeah.
And then the rest came from the crowd, from my audience. And then I would go to different events. I go to a Trey event. Shout out to Trey the Truth. Go to his event. People backstage. Oh man, I hear you going to Ghana. Here, I got something for you. That's that. So that's how I ended up going, and then I spent 2 weeks out there. I met their version of DJ Screw while I was out there. So yeah, they got a subgenre of rap called Ghana Life, and it is a combination of the Ghanaian music and what they call hip hop. So they call it like hip life.
Okay.
And it's basically like a infusion of their music along with hip hop. And the guy that kind of perpetuated that, I met him while I was out there. So, like, compliments, I've gotten I love you a million times. I've gotten...
Wait, but they love you in what kind of way? Like,
man, different stuff, bro. I can tell you some stories.
Different stuff for different folks.
You a legend. I've got that before. Yeah. I get OG a lot. I take that as a compliment because I could be dead right now. God bless you. I've got that a lot. I'm an unofficial member of a couple families. That's probably the biggest compliment, because there's certain people who like, man, you like our cousin. You do all our events and this and that. And I'll make jokes with them. Man, I ain't got my family reunion shirt yet. All that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's probably the biggest compliment. People consider you part of their family. Like, that's a big deal to me, because
yeah, because that's important, man. Like, family, like, I don't just call anybody family.
Straight
like
so that.
If I say you my brother, you really, like, I really consider you my brother. Like, I don't say that as a cliche. I say, like, nah, I rock with you, for the longest, man. And although you and I haven't known each other long, you've been A1 with me, and we did, we did that one event together, and that was dope. And then we're gonna do Embrace the Culture 4 together. So that'll be the first time we actually do something, collectively. At September 16th at Spindle Tap Brewery. Don't forget, y'all gonna be seeing it, man. I'm really pushing it. We got a lot of performances. At Spindle Tap Brewery right there. It's not far, right there on Hirsch and Little York. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I've heard of Spindle Tap Brewery, but I had no idea where it was until I went to. That's where I met Gabriel right here from On It Brewery podcast. Man, shout out to them for allowing us to be here. But that's where I met him. It was at a listening party for an artist, AB Raps, and I was like, bro, this is right down. It's like this. I'm on 45 in Little York. Like this is. I just drive down Little York to get over here, and so shout out to Bad Child. He made it happen to where I can get the venue, and so we're excited, man. And we have a slew of performances, and surprises and vendors, and so y'all come out. But who were some of you guys' inspirations growing up? Like, I don't say growing up, but in the DJing aspect, although I'm not a DJ, but DJ Jazzy Jeff to me was like.
Yeah, that's off top.
Yeah,
that's off top.
He was like the truth, or still is. Like I still see him.
If you a DJ and you don't admire Jazzy Jeff, something wrong with you.
I was a DJ.
You gotta be like 23 or something.
Yeah. Shout out to Amazing Night. But I grew up on that because of Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
I remember. Shout out to Columbia. They would have get the 11 cassette tapes for a penny.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I still owe them. I think. I'll pay y'all soon. So next payday. Nah, that was years ago. That was cassette tapes too.
Yeah.
But your DJs, favorite DJs.
With me, it'll be Walter D. Definitely one of those.
Okay.
Daryl Scott before him.
Okay.
Definitely DJ Screw.
Yeah.
My OG DJ Chill. Definitely.
DJ Chill. Man.
Wicked Cricket, because he the blueprint. He the first DJ and MC of the city.
Yeah.
Let me see. Trying to think, because I don't want to leave nobody out. Definitely Ron C.
Yeah.
Somebody I'm thinking of right now. Can't think of his name. It's gonna come to me though.
Okay.
Young Sam as well. Having a partner like that to work with and vibe with and kind of bounce ideas off of, and the friendly competition that you have, with your brother and all of that.
Yeah.
And kind of push you to be better and try stuff and do different things. So that I would say them people off of the top.
Okay.
I say just about most of the ones you mentioned, like in Houston, really, I've always been about, grew up on like a lot of Houston music and Houston DJs, really like out of town.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just, I don't know why, but it's just been really like a lot of the like DJ Screw that he mentioned, even now, like new DJs that I've met and come around is like Yams. He's with 97.
Oh yeah. Shout out to him.
We doing Teddy Tuesday with DJ Drummer Boy.
Yeah.
Them boys got a lot of skills, man, and just being able to rock next to them and seeing where they come from and what they're doing. So it's like just growing up on them, and those are kind of some of the same favorites DJs.
No, that's dope, man. That's dope. I remember seeing a battle some years ago.
Oh, hold on, I forgot one. Jazzy Red.
Jazzy Red.
Gotta shout out to Jazzy Red. Started out doing Hood Night with him, and he's very much in his DJ space. He's a showman, so it's like he I already kind of had that aspect in me from being on stage rapping and stuff like that. But standing on side of him in the booth and watching him do his thing kind of, to a degree, gave me the license to say, "Oh, we can do that with this? Okay, bet you ain't." So like definitely shout out to him, man. And people don't really give him his flowers a lot, so I try to make a point to mention him as much as possible, because when you think about the fabric of the city, a lot of times he's not mentioned, but he's very much so important. The first rapper really out the city to have a record on a major label, so like the shout out to him definitely.
Yeah, man. Is the statement true? Like in hip hop, we don't really give the OGs their flowers like most other genres of music. Do y'all think that's true?
Yeah, to a degree, but I think that that's something that can be fixed in one generation, really.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I tell artists all the time is don't wait until you are old school to say respect the old school. You got to already be like, if you respect the OGs, you kind of teach your audience to respect the OGs.
Yeah.
So when you become an OG, you kind of fall into that respect because you train them to understand, like, before there was a me, there was this, and without this, there might not be a me. But a lot of times when you carry yourself like, if it's old, it's whack, then when you get older, then guess what ends up happening? You become, in the mindset of these people, you told us old is whack. You old now, so guess what?
You whack, yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, my thought is the same thing too, man. I see a lot of, just for example, like SUC artists. There's still some SUC artists that are still alive, but they don't give them their flowers or give them as much as the artists that have passed away. You know, shout out and R.I.P. to all those that passed away. But I say that a lot, like even with their own drinks and stuff like that. There's a lot of SUC artists that are still, you know, here, but I don't see them getting as much exposures and mess with as much as the artists that have gone.
Whenever I meet someone of that caliber, like I think the first time I met ESG was at the toy drive that Hustletown in 97.9 did at
Yeah,
Walmart.
one time for ESG, man. And R.I.P. Big Pokey, too.
Yes, yeah, no doubt, for sure, man. And I gave ESG his flowers, you know. I was like, for one, I don't know if I'm gonna meet you again, but I made sure to, you know, give him his flowers, man, because, you know, I grew up listening to him, you know, and that whole era. Like I always say, 90s was the best of everything, of every genre of music, because I, you know, always talk about the Pacs and the Biggies, Nirvanas, and even Tejano music was so big and for us at that time, the cumbias. I mean, just so much came from the 90s, you know. But of course, you know, the precursor that was the 80s, and, you know, the music that they had, and they started to kind of build from that. But I have no idea where I was going with that one, but I was giving the people the flowers, you know, the OG the flowers, because it's like, even though some people call me an OG, I'm still gonna, even if they're my age or so, I'm still like, yo, I'm gonna give you your flowers, bro, because I feel if you deserve of it, why not? Like I think we a lot of times act like we're too hard or we're too macho to do that, to kind of get in our feelings a little bit, just to kind of like, hey, bro, thank you for what you've done, like I just did with you guys, you know.
Man, when I met Kool Herc, bro, that's the first thing I did, bro. Like, I walked up to him, and I didn't make it no big deal. I walked up to him, shook his hand, and said, thank you for saving my life. Walked off. But I had to do that. I couldn't leave. I couldn't know he was standing right there and not do that, because it was like, come on, man, like, I've been living this shit my whole life, bro. I've been in every part of hip-hop except the graffiti part. I did all of it, from the spinning on your back to the rapping to the DJing, all of that. So, like, to know that he is a major architect and a major factor to that happening, and knowing where my head was and what was going on in my neighborhood and what I could have been doing. Not saying, you know, that I didn't dabble, but it could have been way worse than that.
Yeah, for sure.
And to have that outlet to say, when I'm mad, instead of going shoot this nigga, I'm finna write this rap. Like, that come from that. I'm not built that way to stunt like that ain't what the truth is.
Yeah.
So
sure.
I had to acknowledge it.
Nah, no doubt.
Another one of those is just like SPM.
Yeah.
I know he has a lot that, you know, people still trying to push, but I don't think he's gotten his flowers for the stuff that he's actually done, paved the way for a lot of Mexicans, a lot of Hispanics, a lot of Latinos in general, you know, in Houston and surrounding areas, because he's one of the biggest names that really come out of Houston, you know. And, so,
and his
like,
voice ain't been replaced yet.
Yeah, it's nobody that has come out to even, like, being close to him. I mean, I know he recently did an interview talking about the Mexican OT, how, you know,
shout out to OT.
Yeah, shout out to OT, man. The whole crew, man. I met B-Don, you know, we were supposed to lock in and do an interview. Hopefully we get that interview. I see he's doing bigger and bigger. I'm like, oh, wait up, don't go too far, bro. I gotta get you on. But man, I love to see that, bro. I love to see more of I think it's more of the Latinos doing it on a bigger scale than it was ever before. Because back then you had SPM, and then that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
But he was
SPM and Kid Frost.
Yeah.
That's the only two I could really just think of, like off the top of the head, that was like significantly making an impact. And wasn't none of them outselling SPM.
I like Baby Bash too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could say I would say him. Cypress Hill. You know. Yeah. DJ Muggs, you know what I mean? They were a big influence on, you know, the culture. And then just, I always thought they were mad. I didn't know that, like, one was Cuban and the other guy, you know, it's like, but I always looked at them as, like, they were us because they did the Spanglish. They did, they got a record called Latin Lingo where they talk about that, you know, and then.
Bro, I met SPM right before all the legal stuff started happening.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy. I was working at this place called Serve Houston.
Okay.
And I think I was like 19, bro. Like, so part of me working there, they had like a mentorship program where you get to kind of shadow somebody who's working in the field that you want to work in. And of course, even then, I wanted to be in music. Mm-hmm. So met this lady, Tiffany Bass. Shout out to her. She's, you know, still kicking or whatever. And the first day we went to the SPM compound. So went over there, met with him and all of that kind of stuff. Rashid and all of them, met all of them. He ended up having a meeting. He was talking about stuff that he needed to do and all that, and I suggested. Funny story, bro. So I ended up calling my house from the Dope House compound, and you know we had to call IDs back in the day.
Yeah.
So I called. My mama answered the phone, right? What you doing at a dope house?
Yeah.
I'm like, Mama,
sure that's what came up.
if it was a real dope house, you think it was said on the call ID? Like,
hey, by the way, you see where I'm at?
Yeah, and then that next day we went to the Wanna Be a Baller video shoot.
Okay.
Yeah, so that whole scene where he was like, they caught the guy that was snitching on him and all that. I was there for that whole scene.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so.
Crazy, man.
Shout out to SPM, man.
Yeah, he's a cult following. I just did an interview with, I was on another podcast Friday night with Road Dogs. Shout out to Rolly and Ashley. And I met a guy there who's producing on the new SPM album that's gonna, I don't know when it's dropping, but they gave us the little exclusive. He's like, yeah, I got some tracks on there. I was like, oh, that's dope. So I didn't even know he's dropping an album, but anyway, I know we kind of got off subject a little bit. So any upcoming DJs or any DJs that are struggling with the craft or deciding whether they want to keep doing it or not, advice?
I mean, the advice is...
Or youngsters that are thinking of like, you know what, I'm good at the, give me the aux cord and I'm good at, they tell you that like, oh man, you should be a DJ, because you play, what would you say to them?
I would say, first off, I would say love it. And if you don't love it, then don't just do it just because it's the thing to do, because it's a lot of people that's kind of muddy in the market, just being placeholders because the girls want to stand by the DJ or whatever the case, so they want to kind of hold that space, but they don't really love the art form, and it comes across in their performance. And you represent a fraternity to a degree, so when you approach DJing like it's just something to do to get girls, you kind of mess it up for everybody else who's in it, because if they can pay you $50 in a bar tab because you don't even care about getting paid right because you just want to be the one everybody looking at, then they think they can do that to me and it ain't happening. So I would say love it, and then like become a real student of it. Like anything that you want to be successful in, you should become a real student of. Start studying other DJs who are doing things you can't do or things you would like to add to your repertoire. Start studying, start becoming cool with DJs from different aspects. People who don't have as many years in it as you, people who've been doing it a long time, because you can learn something from all of them and never stop learning. Like even right now with all the years I have in it, I don't never get to a point where I feel like can't no DJ tell me nothing I done learned everything I need to learn. You look at people like Jazzy Jeff, once again, like he's still learning and innovating and all of that. And I'm not nearly where he is skill wise or years in it. So he's like that. What should I be doing? I'd be arrogant to do anything else.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, keep hitting them on the head, man. But I mean, that's it. You really gotta love it. You gotta really love what you want to do. It has to be a passion. As it started with me, music is passion, man. So it's one of my passions to be able to do it on the level that I'm doing it now. To actually be getting paid is something amazing. But it's just if that's what you really feel like, you really want to do it, and you feel it in your heart, you gotta feel it in your soul, because I feel it that way. And I always use me as an example on stuff like that I feel. But just keep going. Like he said, man, reach out to other DJs. Go out to some of their performances, even if you're not getting paid or whatever it is. Go out and see how they do, how they DJ, what do they do, ask questions, learn it. If that's what you really want to do, man, reach out. You reach out to me, you know, and I'll try to point you in the best direction that I possibly can. But those are like the examples, and the just to be able to do that, man. You gotta really love it. Keep doing it. Keep studying. Look it up. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube right now that you can actually look up as how to DJ. And there's plenty of people up there that are doing stuff. And like you said, you got to be able to be teachable, to not feel like you know it all.
Yeah.
You know, or can't nobody tell you nothing or how to think. Because if you can't be like that, then man, it's gonna be hard for you to be successful, and you end up just not having a good show, a good gig, and then you're just gonna give up. You know, you're not gonna do it anymore. So be able to be teachable
and become well-rounded skill-wise. A lot of y'all, if the sync button wasn't on these decks, y'all wouldn't even be DJs no more, because y'all don't really know how to beat match. And that's the very basics of DJing. If you can't do that, technically you're not a DJ. Anybody in here could say they're a DJ without that aspect of it.
I guess I'm not a DJ after all. No.
So, you know, I mean, that's a very key component. Like, at the bare minimum, you should be able to actually mix without all the little gadgets and doodads. Like, go back and really, like, even if you can get access to wax and turntables, learn that stuff too. Like, it's okay to, I'm going to do it off of my iPad or whatever, but you don't want to have to do it off the iPad. And that's the difference. Like, I've never used a sync button, ever. And I can move from using my deck to using CDs to using turntables, and I can still work. A lot of y'all, if something happened to the sync button on your deck, you got to call somebody else.
Yeah.
Or you hitting the space bar 3 times and hitting P. Like, come on, bro. Like,
I think that's like it's something that you touched on when you were talking about the advice you would give when you said ask. There's a lot of that, bro. Like, people don't want to ask. They're too prideful to be. Yeah, they're not humble enough to say, "Hey, bro, you think? How do you? You know, if you're
especially the young people."
Yeah, it's like, nah, man. Like it's okay to ask. I ask, and I'm about to be 45, and I still ask questions. I don't know everything, and I'm like you. Like I'll never know, even with as long as I've been coaching baseball and softball. I don't know everything, bro. I still ask. I still will see another coach what they do, and I'm like, damn, that's pretty smart. I'm gonna take a little bit of that, or I'm like, hey, what did you mean by whatever XYZ? I don't have a problem asking questions and doing my own research. I think we get lazy, because I know I did. I didn't know how to get the podcast on like Spotify and Apple. I didn't know how to do that, and all I had to really do is just Google or go on YouTube and how do I put it on Spotify? And man, it was right there, and I was like, I could have been done this, but because of me being lazy and procrastinating, right, or hoping someone would tell me when I asked. And that's another thing, because you got some people that ain't gonna help you, even if you ask. But don't let that deter you from continuing to ask somebody. Like that guy just might be a dick, and be like, oh, I don't, they don't want to help. But
yeah, a lot of these younger people, the way their minds is set up about certain stuff is just out of whack. Like, you ain't got no problem putting a pistol in somebody's face, but you can't go with that same dude and ask advice or ask for opportunity. Like, I don't get that. Yeah. That's weird. And this whole thing of wanting to make it but not look like you had to do something to make it. Yeah. Like you just got it like that. Like that mindset is destructive and it's gonna position you like an underachiever like that. Like it's okay to Like people say, never let them see you sweat. It's okay for them to see you sweat a little bit. Hey, I had to put some effort in to get this feature. I had to put some effort in to put this show together. I had to put some effort in. And people a lot of times admire your effort. But people in a certain age range, it's like they want to look like people just came and picked them like they was sitting somewhere chilling and Jay-Z just landed his plane on their street and said, "You look like a rapper, come with me." Like that ain't
I need you. You need to come with me.
Yeah.
Man, well, I appreciate, I mean, we could literally sit here for hours and talk music, especially music, because there's so much that I feel that we didn't get to touch on, you know, but because based off time and whatnot, shit, we might need to do a part 2.
I'm down.
I'm down for that. I think we need that. Any last minute shout outs?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Paper rock scissors for it.
Yeah. Shout out Trinity Garden, shout out to Northside, Big Northside, you know how we do it. Shout out to all the OGs that came before me. Shout out my brother DJ Young Sam, RIP to the homie He-Man, man. And one thing I want to get across to everybody that's out there in the same entertainment space that I am. Get your fitness in order. Get your fitness in order. Between what happened with He-Man, what happened with Big Pokey, and a couple of other situations I know about that I'm not gonna speak about. Like it's time for us to realize this whole like trying to live the rock star life or whatever we want to call it. Like that's gonna put us in a bad position. It's cool to have fun and go to the club and all of that, but when you're not eating right and you ain't doing no exercise and you stressing all the time, that stuff add up to something. And I don't want to hear about nobody else from my period in general, but especially from my city. I don't want to hear about nobody else dying in the club. I don't want that ain't the way it goes. You're supposed to be surrounded by family when you leave here. Not surrounded by club patrons and Jeezy playing in the background.
Yeah.
Like we getting away from that. So yeah, I am push this to everybody. Get off them energy drinks and get on some fitness. Straight up, man. Get you some water. I drink one of these every day.
Y'all don't know this, but prior to me having this bottle, I had a can of Red Bull. I ain't gonna say who gave it to me, but DJ Obedient, any last minute shout outs?
Yeah.
Subtle way of like, you know.
Shout out real quick, man, just to God first of all for being able to give me the opportunity and to be here today. Also, just want to shout out, man, everybody that I come in contact. It's too many people, man, to really like shout out. I don't want to leave nobody out, and I don't want to make feel somebody like they're more special than this. But I really appreciate y'all that really follow me, my fans, man, everybody that really, you know, always booking me and there for me, man. I want to give y'all a shout out, man. Special shout out to y'all, and especially for those that I am their official DJ, like Teddy Tuesday, you know, Houston Whips, Extreme Marvel Performance, and TDM. And last but not least, man, shout out to my kids, man. All 6 of them. You know, Bethel, Vanessa, Briella, Adriel, Azrael, and Aaliyah.
I thought I had a lot. I had 4. I thought I was doing something.
Yeah, I gotta slide some people in. Shout out to my daughter. I ain't gonna say the name because, you know, I'm kind of protective of that kind of stuff. Definitely shout out that damn Monty too. And shout out Jasmine Lewis, the actress, man. She gave me an opportunity to be a part of her show. Okay. So shout out to her as well. We're gonna be going to Memphis next. Shout out to everybody in the M-Town.
Dope.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody, man. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to TDM Talk. Man, major shouts out again, like Obedience said, to God, because He's given me a platform that we're able to bring you this type of content and speak on some real issues and just hip hop and really just kind of talk, you know, and have conversations about things. It's not really a Q&A type of thing. Shout out to On It Brewery Podcast again for having us here. And shout out to all you guys, man, that watch and subscribe and the views that we get, man. And thank you guys, man. Share it with somebody that you may know. Keep pushing, man, because we really do this for y'all. We do this for the people. We do this for us.
Support Mexicans in hip-hop.
Yeah.
Support Mexicans in Houston hip-hop.
We coming up.
We need their voices. We need them. It's not an option. We need their voices. They are very much so Like this is really Mexico, bro. Like on the cool. so yeah, their voice is very much so important. So support them damn Mexicans, and I support them damn Mexicans, and you should support them damn Mexicans because you can't function in Houston with at least one Mexican.
And make sure you follow these guys on our platform. We'll have the in the description where you can go and follow them on IG, TikTok, and all the other platforms that they have as well. And again, man, thank you guys for tuning in. And we are Them Damn Mexicans.